All right, y'all. So Neo, who was divorced about a year ago, is saying that polygamy should be legal. What?
Yeah.
Let's get into this.
As an advocate of dating multiple women at once, being married before, what are your thoughts on legalizing polygamy?
Legalizing polygamy? I don't know it's illegal.
It's illegal. You can't get married, but you can obviously have more than one girlfriend.
I feel like in the realm of love and romance, you should let people do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah?
Can't see how it's hurting anybody.
Exactly. Do you think it should be legalized?
Sure, why not?
Would you fight with the in DC with the lawmakers?
No, because to be honest, I don't need the government to tell me what it is I can and can't do.
Yeah.
It's in my personal life. So.
But if you wanted to get married to more than one woman, would you consider doing that? Or would you want to even get married to multiple women?
I don't know.
Yeah?
No, still in a situation. I'm not gonna let it ruin my day.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the people I love know I love them and they love me.
But why don't you write songs about dating multiple women? You're always just like, gassing up one lady at a time when you're writing music.
I mean, the songs come out depending on the situation and the circumstance.
Okay.
This is the first time that I've been in a relationship or situation like this, so.
And how is it?
Say that no songs about it will come to pass. They'll come.
I love it.
I don't force it when it comes to music. It happens naturally. It happens organically.
You recommend the situation you're in now?
No.
Why?
I don't recommend anything to anybody. What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So
Girls,
find out what works for you.
All right, so there you go. There you guys go. What do you want to do with that? I mean, we got to do something with it. So,
Yeah.
what was your thoughts on that?
I mean, let's talk about the beginning. He is saying that what works for him may not work for somebody else. Mind you, he just got out of a relationship.
Yeah.
He was married. So regardless of how it happened, right? It's been out there that supposedly he cheated, things like that in his marriage. So basically he wasn't able to keep a relationship with one woman to where they could stay together and things. I believe he has children, but he's able to handle two. But I mean, I don't know.
Well, what if that was the reason why he couldn't? It's because monogamy,
Yeah.
devil's advocate, of course,
Yeah.
because y'all know what we represent. But what if it was because of monogamy? He I kind of want other girls.
Who are also okay with other girls being in the
Who also are
situation.
okay with that.
Here's the thing, right? We also have other people on our channel we talked about who said you cannot make women happy, right? And I'm not saying I agree with that, but here's the thing. When you have two women or more, whatever, that he think he can handle, keep in mind they're going to both need attention. They're going to both need things. They're going to both be wanting you to be available for them, have access to you all the time. Some heads are going to butt. Like, I don't see it being successful in the long run. I don't see it. Like, it's a no for me.
It's a no for you.
Because, you know what I'm saying? What if you're feeling one more than the other? What if they get in a fight and start to not like each other? Whatever it may be.
Well, Neo probably would argue, well, if I'm not liking one, I got the other one at least,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so then you even talking about what you can't even talk about this with healthy relationships, right? Like, okay, you're okay with one who's in the relationship not being cool, but as long as you're good with the other one. So it seems like at the end of the day, he's getting what he wants, right? Yeah. It's not really about whether the two women are happy as long as he's happy.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. Obviously, we on this channel don't support polygamy.
At all.
It's illegal in this country, obviously.
Thank goodness.
And I think it should be. I think it definitely should be. Now, some people will be like, oh, y'all are Christians. And in the Bible, there were many people that practice polygamy and things like that. And so if your own Bible has people that you can hold as high figures, why wouldn't you believe in polygamy, or why would you be against it? Well, number one, very important to note that the Bible never prescribes or condones polygamy. Whenever the Bible talks about marriage, it always talks about one man and one woman. It's always been that straightforward. But there's a lot of things that happen in the Bible that God didn't necessarily prescribe. God didn't prescribe for David to kill another woman's husband just because he wanted the woman and he cheated,
Let's
created a
talk about
baby.
that.
That's a whole dilemma. God didn't want him to do
his
that.
downfall,
Yeah.
okay? Like, it happened in the Bible. But
Absolutely.
you know that we can use the Bible for an example of how did that end for him? Like, talking about that and his children.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about his son? Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Solomon.
So, no.
Women, he had all the wisdom in the world, but what caused his demise? women, not just women though, but just so many women, and to the point where his zeal and his love of God dissipated.
Then we go to Psalms and we see how his heart is toward the Lord once he realized all the wrong he's done.
Yeah.
Come on, created me. So yeah, let's bring
Oh, he said David. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. David. Yeah, exactly. Created me a clean heart. So all of that being said, now, obviously we don't prescribe polygamy. Whether or not it should be legal, of course, I'm going to be on the side of it not being legal. A lot of men, most men can't handle a polygamous relationship anyway, not just from a standpoint of attention, but like resources. A lot of people that want this, just your average person that might want multiple girlfriends, all that stuff, can't even handle the one woman that they're with, can't even afford to handle those, just one situation, let alone multiple. So there's just a aspect of resources and all that stuff. But just ultimately, I think we have to look at it as far as like the consequences, like look at how disastrous a lot of open marriages are. Look at how disastrous a lot of these things that deviate away from monogamy are now. Some people would counter and be like, well, they say 50% of marriages end in divorce, even though it's not 50. It's like maybe closer to 40, if anything. Like that number 50 never was accurate. But just because of monogamy failing doesn't mean that it's not the most ideal setup for families and for society. And so we're going to always go with what we think is the best case. And the best case for me is by far is just one woman. I think for men, the best case is one woman. I think we operate better. I don't think we need to give into every desire that we have. I don't think every desire. So Neo was saying, I appreciate him at least saying like, hey, you know, there's a lot of things I wouldn't recommend. It's a lot of things that I wouldn't want people to do that I do. And I think that's fair. But I also think that it's one of those things where why wouldn't you recommend this works for you? Yeah, obviously he has money, so that would be one factor. But would you recommend it to other people with money? That would be a question that I would have for him if someone was in a similar situation financially. Like, what would you like? Those are some of the thoughts that I had in mind. Then the last thing I'll say is just, I ultimately think a lot of people are just wishy-washy, and a lot of people are just slaves to their desires. Yes. In my flesh, the natural man that I am, yeah, there's all type of information out here on what you shouldn't do. There's things in our diets that like, they're foods that I want that are not good for me, but that doesn't stop me from wanting them. They're things that can literally shorten our lives. But people sometimes have this wrestle where they fight against themselves and they can't overcome the fact of things that clearly are not good for you and still wanting those things. And sometimes just because you want something, just because your body might desire certain things, those aren't always the things that you should go after. And in fact, those things, if you become a slave to your desires, you'll find yourself, one, out of money. He's going through a divorce. I don't know what the details. I don't know if he had a prenup or anything like that, but you'll find yourself out of money. You'll create dysfunction in your family. Your children get a dysfunctional situation. You create confusion, all the sorts.
Yeah, and he said, like, people should be able to love whoever they want to love, things like that, blah, blah, blah. And it just all goes to that, what you were saying, and that self-control or lack of. Like, you know, our feelings and things, they switch on and off, this way, that way,
change.
like the wind, all the time. And so you're just saying that, and then you get into, like, okay, so what's too far, or what's not enough, things like that, just because this is how I'm feeling today. So nah, and I'm glad he don't recommend it, but you know, absolutely, still him being him, and people like, hey, so now I get to think about doing this stuff that I wanted to do anyways, and we don't recommend.
Don't be a slave to your desires. That's the best thing we can give you out of this. And yeah, it might be cool. Guys might think, man, it'd be cool to have two girls, two, you know, amazing looking women, you know, holding hands with them walking down the street and all that stuff. It might feel cool, it might look cool, but like, it's not what you think it is. So those are our thoughts on this. We'd love to know what you all think. But do us a favor before you head out, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.
Yes.